Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 49 coming at you with another community shoutcast for the OUSA Dota League Season 1. Just casting Game 2 between Team Struggle up against 5 Gweilos. Team Struggle took a very commanding Game 1 victory with an unconventional Shadow Shaman first pick. Brightside New Zealand played a very convincing Shadow Shaman over the middle lane, was able to completely shut down and destroy the Timbersaw. We'll see what they choose to pick up in the second game. 5 Gweilos, unfortunately, seemed a little bit passive in their tri-lane. The Dazzle didn't skill Poison Touch until very late in the game, wasn't able to punish that greedy Doom pickup from Team Struggle, even though he was jungling. Nothing happening right now. No gank attempts coming out from the line or from the Dazzle, meant that Doombringer was able to get Midas uncontested, was able to get a lot of farm, pick up that early Shivas. They went to that Death Ball push with Smash Serpent Wards from the Shadow Shaman. He was able to pick up a 13-minute Bloodstone over in Shadow Shaman, followed by about a 16-17 minute flank. Use that to really start to control and dominate the map. Bristleback went 1v1 up against their Weaver player as well, and was actually able to out-CS to Weaver, despite Weaver having the range advantage as well as Sakuchi and Gemini attack. Not really too sure what happened there. Weaver failed to pick up Magic Stick until very late into the game. Really might have been one of the reasons why he wasn't able to do so well up against that Bristleback. He was spamming Cool Spray every chance he got to score CS. First ban from 5 Gweilos, Nature's Prophet. Pretty standard ban, has a lot of offlane power, just in the fact that, unlike a lot of offlane heroes, he doesn't have to put himself at risk to get CS. He could use his trees, micro his trees back to control the creep wave right in front of the tower, so that way when the second creep wave hits, it's hitting right in front of your tower, means the creep equilibrium is always controlled towards you, starting off with boots, as well as with a defensive safety ward over on the side. Nature's Prophet's very difficult to gank, means that you'll always be able to get a decent amount of farm. Once he hits level 6, with his Wrath of Nature, it's almost guaranteed that he could get that Midas up, and with that Hand of Midas, he's able to snowball a lot, pick up something like a Shadow Blade if he wants to go for more of a ganking fighting build, can pick up that Necrobook for the pushing build, and later on transition to a DPS or utility hero depending on whether he picks up a Daedalus or a Desolator or something like a Sheepstick for his team. Outworld destroys the first ban coming out from Team Struggle. Pretty standard first ban. Reason why is he pigeonholes your mid hero into one of the handful of heroes that can beat him off the top of my head. The only ones that really stand out are Razor because of Static Link during that Astral Imprisonment, as well as the fact that Unstable Current damages Outworld Destroy every time he goes in for that Astral, as well as Razor, as well as Viper, because of the fact that Poison Attack no longer has a cooldown, only costs 20 mana at level 1. You could use that to Orb Harass the Outworld Destroyer without drawing creep aggro. Not only that, Nether Toxin as well as Corrosive Skin means that you can hit harder and survive longer than the Outworld Destroyer, and really bully and harass the lane. I believe Lone Druid's also a pretty decent pickup as counter against Outworld Destroyer as well, but Lone Druid's day has more or less faded. He's faded a bit more to obscurity, just because of that armlet nerf on his bear, just because of the fact that the only other early to mid-game pickup for him is that Maelstrom that interferes with the Entangled proc chance. Secondary ban for both sides, we've got the Bristleback, respecting Seize to Cheese, who played a fantastic offlane Bristleback, really dominated his lane against that Weaver, was able to use that to transition to an early Pike pickup for his team, meant they could take a lot of fights without fair. Shadow Shaman first pickup from 5 Gweilos, decided to give Struggle a taste of their own medicine. Secondary ban coming up from the Struggle. Timbersaw, very strong hero. They are respecting the power of that hero in that game, as the Whirling Death, especially on melee strength heroes, is a lot of damage, coupled with the pure damage coming out from Chakram and Tibet. Timbersaw has declined in popularity recently, just with that nerve over to his Timber Chain, which really hit home, just because if you do stun him while he's Timber Chaining out, no longer zips across, he's stunned in place, shuts down his survivability, so he's a hero that really relies on going 1v1. He can win or break even a lot of 1v1 matchups, but instance 1v2 or 1v3 gets a lot more difficult. Struggle get first and secondary pick, so they're dipping into their reserve time for that. They're not too sure whether the Shadow Shaman will be a mid pickup like Brightside New Zealand did, or whether or not it'll be a support Shadow Shaman. They're going for that Mirana again. Mirana over on Rizu was actually able to do a huge amount of damage up against Team Struggle. Diablo's face tanked a lot of areas to the face, meant that he died a few times called out by that Mirana. They've gone for Mirana and Ancient Apparition. This is actually looking to be a bit of a blink draft, as Ancient Apparition's Chilling Touch, especially in the triple ranged tri-lane, provides a huge amount of offensive capability. Chilling Touch, for those of you that don't know, provides 3 procs of extra 50 damage per hit for your next 3 hits for all heroes you cast it on, increases 4, 5, 6, and 7. And the only drawback to Chilling Touch is actually decrease attack speed by negative 15% to counteract the fact that it gives plus 50 damage for those 3 hits. It's great on heroes like Mirana because not only do you have leap, you have 600 range and an excellent attack point. It's really good for chasing people down and right-clicking them to death. Clockwork picked up as a secondary pickup for 5 Gweilos. Excellent offlane hero. He's usually first or second ban just because he's so hard to deal with. In the offlane, he has cogs, which makes him difficult in a 1v1 situation, as well as in a 1v3. Cogs do a lot of damage. They're highly underestimated how much damage and mana burn they can provide, especially in team fights. You can use them to push heroes back. Instead of using cogs to trap people in, move just out of range after you land your hook to push them back, get that extra mana and HP drain. You get that extra second of disable coming out from the pushback from the cogs. Third ban, Visage, the undisputed king of the tri-lane. 5 Gweilos is respecting the power of the Visage, especially with Soul Assumption, and with Grave Shield is set up, the DPS coming out from the arrow coming out from Mirana, as well as the Cold Feet coming out from the Ancient Apparition. But not too sure if it'd be worthwhile to go for both Visage and Ancient Apparition. Usually want one or the other, as they're both reasonably greedy support picks, and as they both need their level 6 to be really effective. Death Prophet ban, once again, third ban, could be a specific ban against 5 Gweilos, as Death Prophet usually isn't a priority in bans, although then again, with that Shadow Shaman pickup, they are fearing the amount of push potential that could come out. And so Struggle right now, they have their lanes set up so far. Mirana can go in off lane, mid, or the tri-lane. Most likely will be in that tri-lane, as you have 2 other heroes to help set up your arrow. Ancient Apparition is a dedicated tri-lane hero. With that Chilling Touch, he can actually rotate and gank with another support hero, just with the sheer amount of right-click power coming out from Chilling Touch, especially if he goes into the mid lane with the smoke. Fourth ban, Crystal Maiden, works very well with the Ancient Apparitions. You have the Frost Nova, 900 AoE, 900 range, 40% snare to set up your stun with the Mirana or the Cold Feet from the Ancient Apparition, as well as that Frostbite, and most importantly, the Arcane Aura. Even a single point of it in the early game can be the difference between being able to spam out the spells and not being able to use them at all. Fourth ban from Team Struggle, they know their offlane sorted out, they know that they have one of the support heroes in their tri-lane. If Shadow Shaman does decide to go mid, which would be a bit greedy, they can always punish that with another mid hero that counteracts that Shadow Shaman. However, Shadow Shaman, the biggest weakness with him is he's a very squishy mid hero. He's slow, doesn't really have any defensive spell. He's got offensive skills with that Shackle as well as that Hex, but if there's more than one hero, you could always interrupt him. The Shackle, you could always dive on him and kill him very quickly. Squishy, low HP, needs a lot of gold before he really starts to pick up, and needs a decent amount of EXP. So Shadow Shaman would be vulnerable for a mid pickup. Most likely we'll be seeing him in that tri-lane, as his weaknesses are mitigated by the fact that there's more heroes to back him up. If he's just throwing out that Shackle on one hero, he could follow up with a lot more burst damage. Struggle, deliberating, dipping into their reserve time, but got about 30 seconds left. Not too sure if they want to ban out. They know that their offlane hero is already sorted out. Clockwork can go mid, but ideally you want him in the offlane. Venomancer as their fourth ban. I don't think I can remember the last time I've seen a Venomancer ban. He's pretty unusual. Vengeful Spirit, fantastic pickup, especially with that Ancient Apparition. Vengeful Spirit's biggest weakness is the fact that Magic Missile has a range of about 500, and since Vengeful Spirit isn't the fastest hero, she has to get right up close and personal before she can throw it out. But with Ancient Apparition, with that Ice Vortex to provide that slight snare, can give just enough time for Vengeful Spirit to run up, follow up that arrow with that Magic Missile. Once she lands that Magic Missile, Mirana can follow up with the arrow, and with that Chilling Touch, the 3 of them can do a huge amount of damage, especially with Vengeful Spirit getting a few points up in that Helm, the early game, that negative armor, as well as the Vision.
5 seconds.
And later on in the game, Swap and Vengeful Aura means that Vengeful Spirit scales very well into the later game. She can always function to help isolate enemy heroes, provide a lot of individual ganking power. Earthshaker picked up as a secondary support hero for 5 Gweilos. Earthshaker and Shadow Shaman in the tri-lane, if they do decide to go into that kind of tri-lane, not really too sure how effective that would be. I guess you have the long range initiation from that Earthshaker with that 1300 range fissure, and the Spectre picked up as a carry for the struggle. So it looks like we've got an offlane or a mid Mirana with Ancient Apparition, Vengeful Spirit, and the Spectre in the tri-lane. Looking to see what the fourth pickup for 5 Gweilos is, and it looks like a Juggernaut tri-lane with the Shadow Shaman as well as the Earthshaker. Juggernaut's a fantastic hero for the situation, as you have the Fissure, which can potentially block people up completely for up to 8 seconds, giving Juggernaut time to get the full duration of his 5-second spin-off. 400 damage at level 1, very nasty, very brutal spell if you get caught up close to it. Shadow Shaman also has his Shackle as well as his Hex, and that Ether Shock to finish people off once they start to run away. Not only that, the pushing power coming out from the Radiant side with Juggernaut's Healing Ward, and as well as Shadow Shaman's Serpent Wards means that they can not only push down towers but sustain the push, as the Healing Ward means that all 5 heroes on the Radiant side, once they group up and push, will always be at full HP, assuming he's got enough points in the Healing Ward. Juggernaut also provides a huge amount of physical damage, especially coming out from his ult. If he catches a hero alone with his ult up, they're more or less dead. Fifth ban coming out, we've got the Puck, fearing the huge amount of isolation, AoE teamfight power coming out. Puck would synergize fantastically with 5 Gweilos' lineup. As you have Clockwork being initiated with the hook, Puck can blink in, throw out the Just to silence everyone, throw up the Dream Coil. Clockwork's already interrupted people. With good synergy and good coordination, you could actually Dream Coil, then have Clockwork use his cogs to push them out of the Dream Coil. So not only do they take the 1 second duration disable from the cog pushback, they're then stunned by breaking the Dream Coil. Follow up with something like an Echo Slam with the Ether Shock and the Dream Coil. And sorry, with the Illusory Orb, huge amount of damage coming out. For their 5th ban, they most likely want to ban out mid-heroes, as they know that Mirana will be going to the offlane. They're going to have an aggressive tri-lane with that Spectre, and they ban out the Storm Spirit. Great hero, especially the huge amount of mobility and range. And we've got a Zeus pickup, so we've got a global gank strat coming out from Team Struggle. Really interesting to see how this works. Zeus over in the middle lane, aggressive tri-lane with that Ancient Apparition, with that Vengeful Spirit, and that Spectre. And Mirana in the offlane, you've got Moonlight Shadow, you have the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, you have the Spectre Haunt and the Zeus Thunder God's Wrath to finish people off. Huge amount of execution power coming out from Team Struggle, as if you're lower HP and running away from the map, Ancient Apparition can JFK snipe you, and Zeus can just throw out his ultimate. Viper is the middle pick, so Viper will beat Zeus over in the mid lane, especially if he chooses to max out the Corrosive Skin, as every time Zeus throws out Arc Lightning farm, that bounces to the Viper, he's going to cop a lot of harassment. Also helps mitigate a lot of the damage coming out from Zeus, as Corrosive Skin reduces magical damage. And it looks like we're going to have to Clockwork. Pardon me. Clockwork over in the offlane. Just going to quickly introduce the players on both sides. Diablo, it's a support player playing on their Ancient Apparition. Tiggle Biddy's playing on the Spectre, he's their safe lane farmer. Spooky Scary Skeleton, their offlane player, playing the Mirana. Brightside New Zealand, their mid player and captain, over on Zeus. And Caesar Cheese, their secondary support player, on that Vengeful Spirit. Hobbs, their offlane player, over on the Clockwork. He played Timbersaw last game and was their mid, this time he's playing the offlane. Melon Fury, the support player, over in the Shadow Shaman. Pasununo? Do forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. Over as a secondary support on that Earthshaker. Rizu over as their safe lane farmer. In this case, playing their mid as the Viper. And Bromeo, who played the Dazzle in the last game, playing their tri-lane farmer as that Juggernaut. I'd like to favor the Viper in this mid engagement, just because with that poison attack, with that superior range and superior damage, he's able to bully Zeus out of lane. With that buff to Corrosive Skin to now procs on magical damage as well as physical damage, it means that every time Zeus tries to harass him, he's going to eat a lot of damage. You see that Zeus is respecting the power of that Viper, starting off with boots just to make it more difficult for the Viper to harass him out with the Orb Walk. Viper is a very slow hero, choosing to start level 1 with Nethertoxin. I don't agree with this at all. You always want to get your Orb at level 1 just to harass people out of the lane. It's free harassment as the creeps, it doesn't draw creep aggro. A lot of pings flying out. They're a bit worried. Hobbs is spotted out. He's already dropped his ward. The Radiant side already dropped out the ward, so he's going in for the ward block, and he might actually get called out. Vengeful Spirit's going to walk up, throw out that magic missile. Cold Feet at level 1. Uses the cogs. Never mind. Hobbs should be fine. Vengeful Spirit actually is completely out of mana. Diablos takes 2 cog hits. Drains a lot of his mana. Actually works out in favor of Hobbs. He's able to get that ward block off. However, that ward probably was spotted, so it most likely will be dewarded. Bit surprised he chose not to go for that safety ward, as me and Yoshi were talking about. You don't really want to go for ward blocks anymore, especially if you're here like a Clockwork, because you can even use your Rocket Flare to deny it. Over in the top lane, we've got Spooky Scary Skeleton up against that tri-lane. He should be fine. Most likely we'll be seeing action happening on the mid lane, as Clockwork should be okay for the most part in the tri-lane, just because Spectre has to get up and close to do damage. Caesar Cheese is already out of mana. If he has a mana potion, he needs to pop it. Never mind, he doesn't have any mana. He started off with a magic one, which is a bit surprising. You usually want to see something like a smoke, like a Sentry Woods, picked up on the support heroes. Ancient Apparition choosing to go for that level 1 point up in Cold Feet instead of that point up in Chilling Touch wouldn't have meant the difference between a kill and that engagement earlier, but is generally a bit more of an efficient level 1 pickup, just because the fact that it will provide 150 damage to all 3 heroes of the tri-lane. Camming and gank attempts a lot more damage. We'd like to see if Spectre chooses to max out Desolate. He's actually went for that level 1 Dispersion instead of level 1 Dagger. I don't agree with this at all, especially on a hero like a Spectre. You always want to get a point up in that Spectral Dagger. Then you want to ideally max out Desolate as fast as you can, as that means that when you throw out your Haunt, you do a lot of damage. Your Haunt illusions inherit the Desolate passive. All your illusions do, in fact. So if you do pick up that Manta Cell, if you do get an Illusion Rune, anything like that, they'll do a lot of damage and create a lot of work. Persuna hanging around as that Earthshaker. He wants to get a Fissure Block off of Mirana, but Mirana with that point can leap out of the Fissure Block. Melon Fury taking a lot of creep harassment. Shadow Shaman has low armor, so creep harassment is something that you definitely have to keep an eye on. You never want to click aggressively towards the enemy hero in terms of spells and or even right-clicking until you're actually in range, as otherwise the creeps will draw aggro onto you. Doing a bit of denying over there. Double damage rune has spawned over in the bottom lane. Viper leading the way. 9 for 1 against Zeus's 7 for 4. Zeus does have more denies, but Viper, there we go. You see that orb harassment coming out right now. He's not actually orb walking properly. You need to move forward during the second half of the animation. It looks like Earthshaker actually disconnected, so we've got a quick pause coming up from Hobbs. When you throw out your orb, the instant you see the orb leave your hero and the projectile is completed, you want to right-click, move order forward so that your hero moves up in order to take advantage of the fact that their base attack time, their cast point, still enables them room for them to move forward. That way you're able to make a little bit of distance before you throw out your secondary orb. Can mean the difference between a kill and not a kill and them escaping, just because it usually means an extra free hit that you get out. Zeus with that point up in Static Field, sorry, as well as that point the Thunderbolt can trade very well against the Viper. Once Viper maxes out that Corrosive Skin, never mind, he's actually completely forgone Corrosive Skin. I don't agree with this at all, especially against a hero like a Zeus. You want to get at least 1 point up in that Corrosive Skin early on, so every time he throws out that Arc Lightning, he's also copying a bit of harassment himself. Makes it a lot more difficult for him to control the lane. With that extra point up in Nether Toxin though, does give him a lot more lasting power against that Zeus. But with a superior base damage and with only 1 point, he should be fine already. Brightside New Zealand taking a lot of damage from that poison attack. He eats 3 to the face, turned around, considering throwing out the lightning bolt, realizes it's not worth it, could go down there if he misplays. Chooses wisely to back off. Choosing to completely skip out that Corrosive Skin, this is something I don't agree with at all. Poison attack has been switched in the recent patches, so it's 0-second cooldown at all levels, and that means you only need 1 point Corrosive Skin the majority of the time. You want to make sure you at least get 1 point up in Corrosive Skin. Maybe he just wanted that extra 10% snare, so it's 20% instead of 10. But ideally, the rationale behind getting only 1 point in Poison attack is just to use it to orb walk people out of the lane, so you could get some creep aggro free harassment, use it to control your lane. You want to point up in Corrosive Skin because it drastically increases your EHP, raises your magical resistance from 25% to I believe 35%. Yeah, there you go, it's 10% magic resistance at level 1. 35% magic resistance can be a significant amount, especially when you're facing a Zeus. Clockwork doing not too bad. Will be interesting to see if Diablos and Seize the Cheese decide to rotate over to the mid lane. Ancient Apparition and Vengeful Spirit is a great ganking combination, especially if they have a smoke. Go up around the side, catch the Viper out of position, throw out that magic missile, throw out that cold feet, follow up with the lightning bolt with that chilling touch right click, and there we go. Diablos is actually, he's picked up that double damage rune, might rotate back to mid, but he'll be spotted out by that safety ward. Oh, never mind, Hobbs doesn't actually have a safety ward, no. Yeah, he should be fine unless he's rotating to the mid. Gonna give that Zeus a bit more support. Haste rune spawned in the top lane. Zeus is gonna pick that up with his bottle, he should be fine. Never mind, he doesn't have a bottle, he's got it flying out to him right now. Oh, the Earthshaker might actually interrupt it. Yeah, the Earthshaker's going to grab it before he does anything. He picks up the haste, he's going to back on out. Just a few messages from my co-caster from earlier tonight, Yoshi. And 0 for 0, no action happening so far. Actually, it looks like Earthshaker wants to go in on Spooky Scary Skeleton. He's forgetting the fact that he didn't get a complete ward block off. Never mind, he's caught out by that shackle. With that spin falling out. Ward's a bit slow on the leap. Mirana actually might go down. And yeah, goes down to one last right click. Meanwhile, over in the middle lane, Diablos actually did go for a gank attempt over against that Viper with that double damage, with that chilling touch, and that cold feet right clicks coming out. Looks like Brightside New Zealand still has a cold feet proc on him, chilling touch proc on him. Huge amount of damage potential coming out from the Ancient Apparition. That's a reason why Blink would like to draft him in every single game if they can, provides a huge amount of damage. Bromia, not too sure if he was joking or not. Miskill, please remake. Looks like he actually did not get a point up in the healing ward. Picked up 2 points in stats. Yeah, there we go. It's just a bit of cheeky fun that they're poking at each other. Over in the bottom lane, we see Vengeful Spirit doing a bit of harassment over on the Hobbs, but Hobbs with that high amount of armor, with that shield, as well as with that cogs, he should be fine. Very difficult for them to go for a gank attempt, as Spectre's never able to close the distance, choosing not to go Desolate and choosing to max out that Spectral Dagger as well as the Dispersion. I don't like this build, especially given the fact that with the recent change to Haunter, if you do Haunt to an Illusion, it still stays on all the other ones. You want to max out Desolate, it really increases the amount of gank power you have. He's gone for Phase Boots, which I do like. Phase Boots are the preferred boot choice pickup on Spectre. As the closer you are to them, the more damage you deal out. Dispersion deals damage based on how close you are to them, it deals pure damage. The amount of chasing right-click power coming up from Spectral Dagger, as well as the Phase Boots phase ability, does give you a lot of more time to get a few more hits in as a melee hero. Would like to see him max out Desolate, as you want to go for 1-4-1 by level 7, so that when a gank attempt happens, you throw out your ult. If it's a single hero being ganked by your entire team, the Horn Illusion will be with that extra damage coming out from the Desolate, gets that kill off, and in team fights, in early game skirmishes and team fights, if the support hero is called out on his own, he takes a lot of damage from that Horn Illusion, you recognize he's on his own, you jump to that illusion, and deal a lot more damage. Spooky Scary Skeleton throwing out an arrow, trying to emulate the player from 5 Gweilos, wasn't able to hit. Fortunately, a bit more savvy than he is. They're not going to face tank like Diablos, but nonetheless, he's able to get a bit of reconnaissance from that arrow, gives a bit of vision. Earthshaker's hanging around. He hasn't really accomplished all too much. I'd like to see some rotations coming out from Melon Fury as well as Persona. That's a great ganking combination coming out. Looks like we actually have the Ancient Apparition as well as the Vengeful Spirit. Viper Strike thrown out on Brightside New Zealand, but that means Rizzo's actually extended a bit too far. He actually blocks the hook coming out from Hobbs. Hobbs is caught way out of position. He's that magic missile. Cold Feet isn't going to proc on him, but he goes down to the Thunder God's Wrath. Great play. Actually, Brightside New Zealand turns around with that Thunder God's Wrath and that Lightning Bolt. Brings down the Viper. Great plays coming out from him. Mirana kills the Earthshaker in the top lane. Throws out the arrow. Uses the Starstorm from the look of it. Must have been a double Starstorm proc. And never mind, didn't use the Starstorm. Just used the arrow and maybe a few right clicks. Great play coming out from the Mirana. And over in the bottom lane, Spectre's able to get some free farm. We'll be seeing if she decides to go for the Radiance build, since her team's buying a lot of space, or she could go for that phase drum into Diffusal Blade, a bit more of an early fighting build. She hadn't gone for those points up in Desolate, so I'm most likely thinking that she's just going to sit on her phase, going to sit on that until she gets Radiance. Bit surprising she hasn't picked up anything like a Poor Man's Shield or even a Stout Shield. Quelling Blade is a bit more justifiable on the Spectre, just because she does have a pretty low base damage compared to a lot of other melee carries. But she does have an excellent animation, and it's always nice to have that Poor Man's Shield to mitigate a lot of harassment. Still, Quelling Blade on Spectre is a bit more justifiable compared to somebody like the Lifestealer, who we've also seen on earlier today. He hits like a truck already, there's no need to give him that extra damage, you need that survivability coming out. Spectre has a bit more survivability with those points up in Dispersion, she's got the point up in Haunt now, and so she's got a great global ganking presence with that. There's a reason why Spectre's being picked up a lot more is the fact that she provides a huge amount of early ganking presence. Whenever your team decides to go in for a kill, throw out your ult, use your ult to secure the kill, and you can sit there in your lane continuing to farm. Even though Spectre doesn't have any innate farming abilities, the fact that she could use her ult to always gain assists and always gain kill gold means that she can farm the map, and when a team fight happens, jump in from anywhere. Really gives her a lot of power. Romeo hanging around. Just picked up a level in that healing wall, but that meant that he couldn't get that third point up in the healing in the blade spin. Really does reduce a lot of his damage potential. However, with those 2 points up in stats, it means that at level 6 he does have enough mana for spin as well as his ult. That's the reason why Juggernaut players in the past used to skill spin into stats and completely disregard their healing ward. Now with the recent patch shifts, as well as the fact with the rise of items like Drums of Endurance, as well as the rising prevalence of magic wands, Juggernaut players usually only tend to get 1 point up in stats and then 1 point into the healing ward at level 4. It gives them a really balanced build. You want to max out that healing ward as soon as you can during the mid game, so you go for those crazy huge pushes. Use the healing ward to mitigate all damage coming out on your heroes, keep your creep wave alive, help sustain pushes, means that you don't have to blow serpent wards to take a tier 1, you can just use the healing ward, or if you do blow serpent wards, you keep pushing. Spooky Scary Skeleton throws out, actually eats the only slash to the face and goes down, leaps a bit too slow, is called out by the Earthshaker. Great play coming out from Bromeo, recognizing that she wasted her leap, didn't have any way to escape. He actually outruns her right now with the phase boots. Mirana doesn't have a phase yet, so yeah, it is caught out of position. Needed a bit of a faster reaction on that leap. It's choosing to max out Arrow. I really don't agree with this. You want to max out Starstorm just because it's providing AoE damage. In very rare cases, if you're roaming and you want to be more mana efficient, then you could justify maxing out Arrow. No UGTFO from Horseman of Ruckus did it in Game 1 because he was roaming around, because he's playing as a support position Mirana. But otherwise, you want to max out that Starstorm, as in the mid game, it also provides a lot more ganking potential, as well as flash farming potential. If you land double Starstorm, it's 525 magical damage at level 4. Max arrow at level 4, 490. That's if you hit it at max range. Not as reliable. Gank attack having on the top lane. Brightside New Zealand opens with his ult. Follows out the Lightning Bolt. Is able to face tank the spin. He doesn't really care. That Fisher actually worked out towards Bromeo's doom. Trapped him in. Hobbs comes in a bit too late. Throws out the cogs though. He's able to use that to control the enemy heroes. Arrow flies out. Is tanked by the creep. He's very lucky, and Hobbs is able to walk his way out and out. Biggest advantage of Zeus is the sheer amount of magical damage coming out from him. Especially with that static field, he's got that maxed out. Every time he throws out a spell, 11% of your current HP completely gone. So in a team fight, if you're in range of static field, he throws out Arc Lightning, completely decimates the max HP of the enemy climbing out. If you actually want to maximize your DPS on a single target for ganking, you want to start with Arc Lightning, then throw out your ult at level 1, then throw out your Thunderbolt. But that's only if you want to math craft it. Ideally, you want to hold on to your Thunder God's Wrath as a finishing spell, as if you can always follow up with a secondary Thunderbolt, better to hold on to your ult. But he's getting a lot of gold. It'll be interesting to see what item he picks up. I know Snow from Team Blink likes to go for that Blink Dagger because it does provide, especially with that fact that it no longer costs mana, huge amount of mobility. It gives him a disjoint against certain spells. If you've got fast enough fingers, or if they have a slow projectile speed stun, like that Hellfire Blast coming out from Wraith King, you can use it to disjoint it. Gives you a lot more mobility. It means that if they jump on you, if you're fast enough, you can blink your way on out. Spooky Scary Skeleton actually caught it way out of position. He has that leap though, he needs to leap out in time. Magic Missile thrown out by Seize the Cheese. Hook into Vengeful Spirit, isolating the fight. Great hook into Cogs. Ice Blast blinds out. Couple with that Wrath of God. Juggernaut actually disjoints the Thunder God's Wrath with his Omni Slash, but goes down to that. Right side New Zealand actually ward trap. They have to focus on the wards. He's frantically pinning, saying, "Team, get these wards out of me." And yeah, he's able to run his way on out of there. That's that power of that Zeus. Just provides so much magical damage that he could kill you in fights before he could do anything. Really decimating the 5 Gweilos, as he was able to kill 3 of the heroes almost instantly, just with the sheer amount of magical power coming out. He would have killed that Juggernaut as well if he could get that Omni Slash off. So they trade 1 for 3. Great plays coming out from Team Struggle. Just going to do a quick EXP and gold check in terms of EXP. 5,000 EXP lead for the Radiant side in terms of gold, 5,000. We got some defensive TPs coming into the top lane. Melon Fury is coming back in. They want to defend this. Juggernaut's Omni Slash is on cooldown for a bit, so you won't be able to use it to contribute to the fight. Earthshaker hasn't hit level 6 yet. He's actually chosen to go for a second point enchant turn instead of maxing Fissure. I don't agree with this at all. You either max Fissure or you max Aftershock. That used to be the build Chinese Earthshakers would do a few years ago, just when they want to maximize your mana efficiency. As the only thing that goes up for Fissure is the damage. Romeo eats a lot of damage. Actually gets sniped out by the arrow. 360 MLG arrow flying out from Spooky Scary Skeleton. Romeo doing a bit of a cheeky message over in all chat saying that he caught the arrow. And Spooky Scary Skeleton saying, "Hey kid, catch you." Bit of a mistype. Ice Blast flying out. Viper Strike over on the Vengeful Spirit. Completely locks him in place. Thunder God's Wrath as well as a point blank arrow, and the Magic Missile gets the kill. Melon Fury goes down to the haunt damage. Tiggle Biddy's chasing down Rezu. He doesn't have enough mana for that Spectral Dagger. He should actually back off. He's taking way too much damage right now. He doesn't want to die. Viper can actually turn around and kite him to death. He decides not to. It's not worth it. Turns around a bit too late. And Tiggle Biddy's gets his way on him. He's almost got enough for his relic. He's about 1,000 gold out from it. Would have been a huge death if he did die. But once again, every time Thunder God's Wrath is off cooldown, Brightside New Zealand's been making sure to maximize their advantage, going for those early fights, use that sheer amount of magical power coming up from their team to completely destroy them before they have a chance to react. Sort of like Blink Dota, instead of relying on CC or snares, or Superior Initiation, it's going to rely on a sheer amount of damage to blow you down, and sweep you off your feet, and stomp you while you're on the ground. Just going to take a quick break and drink some water. I'll be right back. Casting for about 6 hours and a half now. I've casted. This is the third best out of 2 series I've casted tonight. Earlier on, we had Tom Yun Khan, the Thailand team, up against Bambi Rising in Group 2 playoffs. Very first playoffs for Group 2. We called them the Group of Death, and for good reason. Great series of games, and then followed up by that, we had the 4 Horsemen of the Ruckus up against TYK, Tom Yon Kun again. They played an excellent best out of 2 series. Game 2 is the longest match I've casted so far, about 60 minutes, a lot of back and forth action. Great defensive plays coming out from 4 Horsemen of the Ruckus, even when they were playing from a significant golden EXP deficit, as well as some interesting hero pickups. We saw the power of Lone Druid and TYK, as well as the power of the Pandarian Brewmaster with TYK up against Bambi Rising. Bambi Rising also, the retarded unicorn, also got to show up his perfect Michael skills. I believe Yoshi was telling me that he used to be like a Grandmaster player in SC2. Really got to see the levels micro on his Chen and his Visage play. Very impressive plays. TPing down to the bottom lane to defend against Melon Fury's split push. Throws out that Serpent Ward with the creep wave there, as well as that catapult. He's able to go in for a tower push. We got some TPs coming in. Brights on New Zealand, he went for that blink taker. He blinks a bit too far forward, gets hexed out, but it's only a 1 second hex. Throws out that Thunderbolt, does a lot of damage. Melon Fury cops the arrow to the face, and he goes down with that storm. Spooky Scary Skeleton, being pretty on point with these arrows so far. He missed a few in the beginning, but now he's really showing off. Going for those kills, and it looks like that tower will be denied as well. So Serpent Ward's wasted, but at least they do get the map control from killing that tower. Grouping over in the mid lane, we've got 3 of the heroes. Will be interesting to see what the Juggernaut chooses to go for. He's going for that drum of phase into Drums of Endurance. Pretty standard pickup for the Juggernaut, gives him everything he needs, a bit more chasing power, a bit more stats, and a bit more HP. Actually, could have turned around and Omni Slash that Vengeful Spirit Shields way too far forward, no creeps there. Bromeo hesitated for a bit, was a little bit afraid, perhaps wondering if there was other heroes around. Looks like they could go for a kill attempt right now. Earthshaker, I think he's disconnected. He's tanking a lot of damage from the tower. Not too sure what he was doing there. If they throw out that Thunder God's Wrath, that'd actually be a kill. Never mind, he drops that Healing Ward, safeguarding him. And that Ice Blast, oh my god, he wastes the Omni Slash on the Spectre illusion. And Diablos is able to secure that kill with the JFK across the map. Ice Blast hits him right in the face, shatters him instantly. Doesn't stand a prayer. Hobbs is hanging around the side. He wants to get a good hook off. He's been on point so far with his hook into Cogs. Bromeo saying the game is hard. Not too sure what happened to Earthshaker. Must have been a bit of a lag spike, as there was no reason why he should be standing there tanking those hits. Thunder God's Wrath thrown out to give a bit of vision. Another use of that Thunder God's Wrath is it also provides vision as it applies a lightning, what's effectively a lightning bolt to all 5 heroes. However, one of the things that counters the Thunder God's Wrath is Smoke of Deceit, as well as the Mirana's ulti. If you're invisible, when he throws out the ult, you completely disjoint it. However, if you do get hit by the ult, it provides true vision of you for up to 7 seconds. Same with that Lightning Bolt, or the utility abilities that comes up from Zeus. It's one of the reasons why Zeus is such an effective ganker, despite not having any kind of CC. It's the fact that that Lightning Bolt, as well as the Thunder God's Wrath, provides up to 7 seconds of vision. Means you can't juke Zeus. After all, he's meant to be a Greek god. You can't run from heaven. Invisibility Rune picked up, as well as 2 Arcane Boots. Brights on New Zealand having a great game. He's got enough mana to be able to throw his skills whenever he wants to. Fishing Arrow flies out, gets a bit of reconnaissance. Ice Blast flying out is actually going to miss. Rare miss from the Ancient Apparition. Tiggle Biddies doing a few right clicks. He's got a few points up in Desolate now, but he really needed that maxed out earlier. He's almost got his Sacred Relic though, so he's doing pretty well in terms of farming. Arrow flies out, just barely misses Earthshaker. If that had him, that would have immediately been a kill. Vengeful Spirit doesn't have a level 6. Thunder God's Wrath, never mind, that's just a blink into a bolt. Hobbs coughing a lot of damage. Horns thrown out, splitting the fight. Blade Spin from the Juggernaut, but they're turning around and right-clicking him to death. Thunderbolt finishes off the Viper. 4-man Fisher from Persona. Hobbs throws out the Cogs, but actually sits in place long enough for Spooky Scary Skeleton to get an arrow off. And Brights on New Zealand finishes them off with a lightning bolt to the face. Great play coming out from Team Struggle. That's 4 for nothing. Shadow Shaman's the only one that survives. Double damage room pinged out by the Spectre. Looks like they're going to get that tier 1 mid. And Spectre, with the gold that he'll get from finishing off that tier 1 tower, is going to pick up a Sacred Relic. Once he gets that Radiance, that effectively seals their doom. There we go. He gets that last hit. 4k. 1.2k off that Radiance. Melon Fury backing the hell away. Looks like they're actually picking out Roshan. Zeus has his ult up. It's got a pretty low cooldown. He's going for Aghanim Scepter right now. I'm unsure about the Aghanim Scepter pickup. I would like to see something like a Force Staff give him a bit more mobility, or even a Veil of Discord provides more DPS than the Aghanim Scepter. The biggest advantage of having that Aghanim Scepter, though, I guess, is it does provide a lot more stats, which is always nice for the Zeus. Diablo's face tank spots out the Dire Side, dies to the Echo Slam on one person. Brightside is then called out by the Serpent Wands. Cogs actually push him out of that, but he goes down nonetheless to the Omni Slash, as well as the right-click damage coming out. Juggernaut ends a spree. Drops that healing wall, actually cops the arrow to the face. Spooky Scary Skeleton being on point with these arrows. Or maybe Bromeo's has been face tanking a bit too much. Tiggle Biddy's calping a lot of damage. Cogs fly out. The Cogs from Hobbs actually almost saved Juggernaut, the Zeus there, by pushing him out of that ward trap. But nonetheless, Juggernaut was able to finish the kill with that blade spin. Tiggle Biddy's backing his way on out. Arrow flies out, catches out Hobbs. He did have his ult, never mind, his ult's on cooldown. He's going to go down. He traps Spectre, but Spectre says, hey, I'm not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with me. Cops the cog damage. Looks like she'll actually should have her Radiance up by now. Yeah, there we go. She's about 100 gold free from her Radiance. Ice Blast flies out, misses everything, provides a little bit of vision though, so it wasn't a complete loss. And in terms of a golden EXP check, we've got 14,000 EXP in favor of Team Struggle, and about over 10,000 gold lead. Just going to do a quick item check over inside of the Dire. We have Juggernaut with, he's finished up his boot phase and drums. It looks like he's going for that Vladimir's offering. Great pickup on Juggernaut, especially if you don't want to go for that early to mid game, death ball push kind of fight. Clockwork has treads and nothing else. Hasn't been having a great game. Chosen to max out Rocket Flare over Battery Assault. I really disagree with the skill build. When you're playing as a Clockwork, especially in the offlane, you want to max out that Battery Assault. So once you hit level 6, if you catch a support hero on your own, the sheer amount of damage coming up from Battery Assault means you could kill them off. It does an awful lot of damage if it's just one target copying all the hits. Shadow Shaman choosing to max out Shackle over Hex. I don't like this, and the reason why is Shackle not only scales very poorly, but could very easily be interrupted by any kind of stun or mini stun. Zeus's Thunderbolt, for instance, will interrupt it. You got the Mirana Arrow, which you're sitting duck for, Ancient Apparitions, Cold Feet, as well as Visage's Magic Missile. Hex is a brainless CC. You throw it out, you don't have to worry about it. Doesn't scale. It scales pretty badly, but at the same time, it's a secondary snare you can throw out, CC that you can throw out. They get a kill attempt over on the Vengeful Spirit. Good play coming out from them. Viper has been having a pretty terrible game. It has 2 Wraith Bands and Treads. Really is regretting the fact that he didn't go for those extra points up and that corrosive skin. Really wasn't able to punish that Viper pickup. It should have been an easy lane for the Viper to beat the Zeus, but Zeus's smart item choices starting with boots at level 1 meant that he wasn't able to orb walk him out. Earthshaker having deciding to go for 2 points in all of his skills. I really don't like this. You want to max out Fissure, or you want to max out the Aftershock if you want to be super efficient, but with the advent of Arcane Boots, you really want to max out that Fissure. 4-man Ice Blast just clips Bromeo, but hits all 3 of the other heroes, doing a lot of damage. Ancient Apparition been doing work. Diablos has been pretty on point. And Smoke Gang coming out from Spooky Scary Skeleton, Diablos, as well as Tiggle Biddies. But Tiggle Biddies with his ult should be fine. He's got his Radiance up. He wants to start tanking up now. Maybe pick up that something like a Harder Tarask. Maybe pick up a Manta Style if he wants to go for a bit more damage. With that Haunt, as well as the Thunder God's Wrath, they can do an awful lot of damage. Spectral Dagger thrown out, hits Melon Fury, provides vision. Bright Side New Zealand blinks in, throws out that Thunderbolt, throws out the ult, and Tiggle Biddies gets a double kill just from the Radiance Burn. Bromeo was way too far forward, throws out the Omni Slash, it's going to kill Tiggle Biddies, never mind, he does not go for the right click. Hobbs kills him off with his ult, but now he's caught way out of position, he eats that Thunderbolt to the face. It's going to eat the Ice Blast clips him, but the Shadow Effect is more than enough to kill him. Mirana gets a kill with that Starstorm. Great plays coming out. Never mind, that was just a right click with double damage and Chilling Touch. Great plays coming out from Team Struggle. That was a 5 for 1. They're more than happy to take that trade. I don't think Spectre is, but I'm sure he'll live. Sitting at 29 for 8. Commanding lead in the map. We see that defensive ward placed out from the Dire side on covering vision of their tier 2 in the high ground. But it's not going to matter if their tier 2 goes down. It'll be interesting to see if the Radiant side decide to place a counter ward there as well as a ward of their own. Great offensive ward to place over where the Dire currently places the ward, as it gives you vision of when they decide to enter the jungle. Tiggle Biddies lamenting RNGesus, he didn't make the right offerings, and so he cops all the Omni Slashes and goes down. In Dota 1, I think there used to be a trick you could do where if you keep spamming right click on the hero you want to Omni Slash, it's more likely to prioritize that hero. Not too sure if it's the same for Dota 2. Mirana went for phase, drums and Maelstrom. Huge fan of this build, as the Maelstrom provides a lot of power to the Mirana, as Mirana biggest strength is the fact that she has a lot of time hitting heroes, but she just doesn't hit hard enough. So having that Maelstrom means it doesn't really matter which hero you prioritize, the Lightning Belts will hit the rest of the team, give you a bit more magical AoE damage, especially with that Starstorm. Also helps you farm a little bit faster when you're right-clicking creeps, so it's always pretty handy. And I guess with the Lightning coming out from Zeus, you might as well build Team Lightning. Brightside New Zealand having a fantastic game. Once again, Bloodstone picked up on him. Bloodstone, as well as that Blink. We'll see what he chooses to go for next. I'd like to see a Veil of Discord. I'd like to see a 4-star, just give him a bit more mobility. But he's been doing a lot of work. Looks like tier 1 for the mid's going to go down. But we got the Thunder God's Wrath coupled with the Ice Blood. Rezu dies immediately, godlike over in Spooky Scary Skeleton. Earthshaker shatters from the Ice Blast. Melon Fury goes down to the Thunderbolt. Brightside New Zealand says, you can't run from me, I throw lightning. Horn thrown out, it's just Hobbs as well as the Juggernaut. Hobbs being chased back, he went from 0 to 40% HP just from Horn, just from Desolate, as well as that Radiance. Thunderbolt flies out and he dies to that Radiance burn. Omni Slash thrown out by the Juggernaut, hits on Tiggle Biddies with that Healing Wall. Healing Wall's gone down. Bromeo's got way to position with all 5 heroes on the Radiant side, and he goes down. Chilling Touch is thrown out a little bit too late. But there you go, that looks like a free tier 2 for the Radiant side.
His middle tower is under attack.
And Team Struggle playing a fantastic game. Just going to do a quick golden EXP check. In terms of EXP, 25,000 EXP leads for the Radiant side. And in terms of gold, over 15,000. Veiler Discord picked up by the Zeus. He recognizes that that's going to get him a lot more DPS than the Aghanim Scepter upgrade. He could always choose to go for Aghanim Scepter now. But with that Bloodstone and with that Blink Dagger, he's already hitting pretty hard. He's got all the mana in the world. He can constantly be throwing out spells. That Blink Dagger means that he could always catch people out of position. Escape himself. It provides a huge... It increases his effective range by about 1,000. Going for a Roshan attempt. Sees the cheese. Tanking a lot of hits from Roshan. Roshan savagely beating on him. Chooses to wisely back off. Diablos is caught a bit out. Throws out their Ice Blast with that Thunder God's Wrath. Earthshaker goes down. Rezu says, hey, I don't want any of this. If I get hit a few more times, I'll go down myself. Brightside New Zealand blinks in. Gets that Thunderbolt over on Hobbs. Rezu just barely escapes. That's that power of the... That's that execution power I'm talking about. With Ice Blast as well as that Thunder God's Wrath, can immediately drop everyone on the dire side to about half HP. That Ice Blast means that if they drop below 10%, 11% at this point, they immediately shatter. Once he picks up... Oh, he's going for that Aghanim Scepter. He actually has that finished. Aghanim Scepter is absolutely fantastic. Increases the duration for 17 seconds. That's 17 seconds where you can't heal at all. So Magic Wand, Mechanism, Harder Tarask, any hero abilities, passive hero regen, healing ward, none of that works. If you're able to hit important heroes in their team, such as the mech carrier, you kill them off before they have a chance to get any regeneration going on. Absolutely critical ability in these team fights.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Molnir picked up on Mirana. She wants to do a bit more damage. The active from the Molnir also can be very handy, especially on heroes like that Spectre. As when Spectre jumps in, you want to focus Spectre. She forces you into a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If you don't focus her, especially when there's a bit of action happening, Ice Blast is going to secure the kill over on Rezu. He should shatter. Arcline flies up from Zeus, just in case if there's a chance of her escaping. Fisher flying out, catches Zeus, doesn't really do all too much. Arrow flies out, Spectre goes balls deep on his own, forces out the Echo Slam, goes down. Hobbs throws out the hook, actually misses, goes down to Brightside New Zealand. Dominating plays coming up from Brightside. As well as that Ancient Apparition, Diablos has been on point with his Ice Blast. Great coordination coming out from Team Struggle. Every time he throws out the Ice Blast, Zeus is there to follow up, either with a blink into a lightning bolt, or with that Thunder God's Wrath. Throws out the Chilling Touch while they're pushing the tower. I actually disagree with this. Chilling Touch actually creates a negative 15 attack speed debuff on your heroes, and this tower can't take magical damage. It actually decreases the speed which you take down the tower, but that's just me nitpicking. Melon Fury goes down, gets hit by the bolt, gets hit by the cold feet, and eats an arrow to the face. Spooky Scary Skeleton, having a dominating run again. Despite a bit of a slow start, he did die twice early on in the game, but he's more than making up for it now. Earthshaker loses half his HP. Static Field with the Arc Lightning and the Lightning Bolt with that Veiler Discord debuff. Huge amount of damage flying out. And it looks like they're grouping for the mid lane racks as well. They do have to be wary of the fact that the Omni Slash is up. Serpent Wards, I believe, will be off cooldown a little bit. Maybe he dropped them earlier. No, never mind. Serpent Wards are going to be on cooldown for a while. And Vengeful Spirits picked up a Blink Dagger. This is something that's only very recently been added. In Dota 1, the reason why you couldn't pick up a Blink Dagger on Vengeful Spirit or a Pudge was the fact that you could blink up to a cliff or unpassable terrain and swap out enemy or allied teammates to troll them. They're effectively stuck there until they get a TP out. And then before Flying Courier happened, that meant that you could effectively cut them up for the rest of the game. Now in Dota 2, they've finally decided to change it up because they've added things like Vengeful Spirit Swap, clearing out trees, so you no longer can swap people on and stick them into trees. You can stick them into cliffs, but that's a whole other can of worms. I figure Ice Frogs recognize that it's finally enough time. And it's about time that these heroes get to join in the blinking fun. Melon Fury eats an arrow to the face and goes down to right-click some Spooky Scary Skeleton, being on point with these arrows. Zeus throws out an ultimate, gets a kill without even being there. Spectre gets another kill with that Haunt, with that Radiant and Desolate damage. Eats an Omni Slash to the face. RNG Gods are a bit more merciful this time. Pops his mentor a bit too late, but nonetheless is able to kill him. Romeo isn't too impressed with the way that the RNG Gods have called it, and GG's called at 29 minutes and 20 seconds. Dominating play coming out from Team Struggle. Really could be a contender for Team Blink. I believe they'll be playing against them sometime this week. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. 29 minutes and 27 seconds in, 44 kills to 8. STG Team Struggle take a dominating 2-0 series against 5 Gweilos. I'm 49, thank you for listening, and that'll be the last cast for tonight. I'll be uploading the VODs shortly. They should be up sometime tomorrow. Thanks for watching, I'm signing out.